started like any other Friday night for 19-year-old Kayla. Her small college dorm room was illuminated by the soft, shifting colors of her LED lights. Pink fading to blue, blue bleeding into purple. The rhythmic clack of her mechanical keyboard echoed through the quiet as she greeted her chat with her usual, high-spirited smile. Her stream had been growing fast. She had gone from a few viewers to thousands in just a few weeks. Her followers loved her authenticity, her late-night gaming marathons, her witty sense of humor. On this night, she planned to stream until sunrise, a long-haul challenge to hit her donation goal. The chat scrolled endlessly, hearts and laughing emojis filling her screen. But somewhere among the flood of messages, a strange comment appeared. "There's someone behind you." Kayla laughed it off. "Nice try, chat. You're not getting me with that one." She turned around theatrically, showing her neatly made bed, the open closet, and the twinkling fairy lights. Nothing there. When she turned back, her face glowed in the monitor's reflection. Perfect lighting, perfect vibe. As the hours passed, she grew a little tired. Her voice softened, her laughter became less frequent. But the chat became different. Messages began repeating, "Behind you. He's closer now. Why is the door open?" Kayla frowned. She turned to glance again. Her dorm door was shut. She hadn't opened it in hours. She rubbed her temples, forcing a nervous smile. "Okay. You guys are seriously creepy tonight." She switched games, hoping to shake off the feeling. The sound of in-game gunfire masked her unease, until her microphone picked up something faint in the background. A soft tapping. Then a whisper, barely audible beneath the game sounds. The viewers heard it first. Chat exploded. "Did you hear that? What was that whisper?" Kayla paused, her eyes darting toward the corner of her screen where her audio levels were peaking. Even though she wasn't speaking, she leaned close to the mic. "Okay. Seriously? Who's messing with my audio settings?" Her voice trembled slightly now. There was no one else in the room, and her roommate was out for the weekend. The tapping sound returned, louder, deliberate, like fingers brushing against her desk from beneath. She jerked back, laughing nervously. "I'm probably just tired. Lack of sleep makes you hear things, right?" The whisper came again. This time it wasn't random. It said her name. Her chat froze. No more emojis. No jokes. Just a wave of messages all saying the same thing. "Kayla, run." The camera flickered. The image distorted for a moment, warping her reflection into something unrecognizable. Her face stretched, her mouth opened wider than possible, then snapped back to normal. "Whoa!" she gasped, staring at her monitor. "What was that?" She reached forward to adjust the webcam, thinking it was a technical glitch, but as her hand brushed the lens, the light in her room dimmed slightly, as though something had stepped between her and the LEDs. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Chat, do you still see me?" Thousands of viewers watched as the camera feed darkened. Only her silhouette remained visible, faint, twitching slightly as if out of sync. Then something appeared behind her. A tall, shadowed figure, standing perfectly still near her bed. The chat exploded in panic. "Kayla, turn around. It's right there. Oh my God." She froze. "Okay, that's not funny anymore," she said, forcing a shaky laugh. Her hand hovered near her keyboard. She didn't turn around. The camera quality began degrading, lines of static crawling across the screen. Then, without warning, the shadow moved. Not like a person. It stretched, sliding along the wall, its edges rippling like smoke. Kayla screamed and spun in her chair, but the camera cut to black. Silence filled the stream. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the video feed returned, but the room was empty. The chair rocked slightly as though someone had just stood up. Her microphone caught faint breathing, slow and uneven, coming from somewhere very close to the mic. The chat was a blur of terrified messages. And then, just before the stream ended, Kayla's face appeared again. But something was wrong. Her eyes were unfocused, her expression blank. She sat back down, staring directly into the camera. When she spoke, her voice was lower, distorted, and every word crackled through static. "Thank you for watching." The feed froze on her smile. Thousands of viewers refreshed their pages, thinking it was a glitch, but the stream never came back. The replay disappeared within an hour. Her channel was wiped clean, no videos, no clips, no trace. Her followers began posting on other platforms, searching for answers. Some claimed they downloaded the stream before it vanished and that when they rewatched it, the figure behind Kayla seemed to move differently each time. Closer, clearer, more defined. One viewer swore they saw a second pair of eyes reflecting in the monitor before the feed cut. Campus police found her dorm locked from the inside. Her chair was knocked over, and her computer was still running, streaming to a channel that no longer existed. Kayla herself was gone. No sign of struggle. No trace of forced entry. Weeks later, a new stream appeared under her old username. Just static and faint breathing for an hour. In the last few seconds, a shadow moved across the screen, and a single word appeared in the chat. "Live." The narrator's voice softens, a low whisper fading into static. Sometimes what we share online isn't just seen by people. Sometimes something else is watching, something that doesn't just observe, but waits. And as the screen fades to black, the final image flickers. Kayla's frozen smile, caught mid-laugh, illuminated in the dark glow of her monitor. It was a quiet Thursday night when 17-year-old Jordan sat hunched over his gaming laptop, headphones on, half listening to lo-fi music while scrolling through Discord. His room was dim, the only light coming from the screen reflecting across his tired eyes. Outside, the rain drummed gently against the window, a steady background hum that made the world feel distant and safe. Jordan wasn't much of a talker in real life. Online, though, he felt alive, surrounded by friends who shared his humor, his love for gaming, his late-night banter. That night, a new message appeared in his DMs. It came from a user with the same profile picture as his and the same username. At first, he assumed it was a glitch. Maybe someone had cloned his account. The message read, "Hey." He smirked and typed back, "Nice try. Who is this?" The reply came instantly, "You know who I am." Jordan frowned. He clicked the profile, same profile picture, same banner, same status, even the same join date. He couldn't make sense of it. A prank. Maybe someone in his server trying to mess with him? Then the stranger typed again, "You shouldn't be alone right now." Jordan leaned back, uneasy. "Funny," he muttered. He closed the chat window, but before he could even open his game, another message popped up. This time it wasn't text, it was an image. The picture was grainy, dark, but he recognized it instantly. It was his room. The same angle, same desk, same poster on the wall, but in the reflection of his monitor, someone was standing behind him. His chest tightened. He spun around in his chair, but the room was empty. The air felt suddenly colder, the hum of his computer louder than usual. He swallowed hard and checked the hallway. No one there. He shut the door, locked it, and returned to his laptop, his pulse thudding in his ears. The next message appeared, "Don't look away again." He stared at the screen, hands trembling. He wanted to block the account, but something stopped him. A strange curiosity, or maybe fear that blocking it might make things worse. "Who are you?" he typed. "What do you want?" The typing indicator appeared, 3 dots pulsing for almost a full minute. Then came the reply, "To help you see." He waited, confused, terrified, heart racing. Then the typing dots appeared again. "Check your camera." Slowly, his shaking hand reached for his webcam. The little green light was on. He hadn't turned it on. His throat went dry. He covered it with a sticker and whispered, "No way." A new image appeared, a live screenshot from his webcam, showing his terrified face with the sticker already covering the lens. He pushed away from the desk, his chair crashing into the wall. "No, no, no," he muttered. He yanked out the webcam's USB plug. His Discord pinged again immediately. "You can't hide." The cursor began moving on its own. His screen opened folders, one after another, photos, documents, videos. Everything. It was like watching invisible hands sift through his life. Then the message popped up again. "I'm not in your computer." He froze. The next line followed almost instantly. "I'm in your room." Jordan's breath hitched. He forced himself to look around, every shadow suddenly suspicious. The rain outside grew louder, the thunder rolling in the distance. He whispered into the dark, "If this is a prank, it's not funny anymore." The typing indicator appeared one last time. Slowly. Then the final message arrived. "Turn around." He couldn't move. Every muscle in his body screamed to run, but his legs felt anchored to the floor. The glow from the monitor painted his face in cold blue light. His reflection in the screen stared back at him, pale, frightened, breathing heavily. Then, for the briefest moment, another reflection appeared just behind his shoulder. A dark silhouette, tall, motionless. The screen went black. His computer shut off with a soft click. Neighbors reported hearing a single scream that night. Sharp, short, and then silence. The next morning, Jordan's mother found his room empty. His chair was overturned, his headphones still playing static. His laptop was on, Discord still open. The chat with the mysterious account was gone, replaced by a single message, "Offline." Police couldn't trace the username. The IP address led nowhere, bouncing between servers that didn't exist. His friends swore it wasn't any of them, and they had proof. That account was still online, sending friend requests to others in Jordan's server. A few weeks later, one of his closest friends streamed late at night, reading old messages. The chat began to notice something strange. A user joining with Jordan's exact username, the same profile picture, the same typing pattern. The streamer froze when a DM popped up live on screen. "Don't look away." The narrator's voice lowers, slow and deliberate. Sometimes what we meet online isn't just another user. Sometimes the screen doesn't show us the world. It shows us what's waiting in the dark behind us. And if you ever get a message from yourself, don't reply. Renee Alvarez was everything the internet adored. Glowing confidence, picture-perfect travels, and the kind of soft-spoken charm that made her feel like your closest friend. At 24, she had built an empire out of sunsets, smoothies, and smiles. Her social media feed was a digital dream. Ocean blue backdrops, golden hour selfies, and captions that sounded effortlessly profound. Millions followed her every post, craving a glimpse of the life she curated so carefully. But beauty hides many things. Her final trip was supposed to be another brand partnership, a luxury resort on a remote island off the coast of Thailand. She posted a short video when she arrived. The ocean shimmering behind her, palm trees swaying in the wind, a soft instrumental track playing beneath her voice. "Sometimes," she said, smiling into the camera, "you have to disconnect to really find yourself." That was the last time anyone heard her voice. 2 days later, her content stopped. No posts, no stories, no tags. At first, fans assumed she was on a digital detox. But after a week, the comments shifted from curiosity to panic. "Where are you, Renee? You promised a vlog update. Please tell me you're okay." Then, without warning, her Instagram account went dark, wiped completely clean. No photos, no bio, just her name and one final post that hadn't been there before. A single black square with a caption that read, "Finally unplugged." Her followers were stunned. The comments filled with confusion, worry, and conspiracy theories. Some thought it was performance art. Others believed she'd been hacked. But something about that caption felt too deliberate, too final. Within hours, fan-run Reddit threads began dissecting her last videos frame by frame. And what they found was unsettling. In one clip from the resort, as Renee filmed herself walking down the beach, her shadow didn't move quite right. It lagged, like a delayed reflection. In another, the background seemed to distort for a fraction of a second, as though the footage had been tampered with. But the most disturbing detail was in her final vlog thumbnail. Zoomed in, it looked as though someone else was standing just behind her in the water, tall, pale, featureless. The brand that sponsored her trip claimed they hadn't heard from her since check-in. Her flight back home was never boarded. The local authorities conducted a brief investigation, but no body was found, no evidence of foul play. Her room was spotless, her luggage still packed neatly by the door, her phone lying face down on the nightstand, turned off. A month later, her YouTube channel suddenly came back online. Only one video appeared, uploaded automatically. It had no title, no thumbnail, and no description. Viewers clicked, expecting a glitch. What they saw was 30 seconds of static. Then Renee sitting in front of the camera in a dark, silent room. Her expression was empty. The light flickered. And then she spoke. Slowly, as though repeating someone else's words. "I'm offline now." The video ended abruptly. When digital forensics teams tried to trace the upload, they found it had come from multiple IP addresses, across 3 different countries, all at once. The timestamp showed it was uploaded 2 weeks after she had gone missing. Some viewers claimed that if you slowed the video down, you could see shapes moving in the background, like figures standing behind her in the dark. Others reported hearing faint whispering under the static, phrases that sounded like, "Stay connected," and "We see you." Her family tried to have the video removed, but it kept reappearing on mirror accounts, reposted under new usernames, each time with slightly different lighting or angles, as if the video itself was changing. Some uploads even showed Renee blinking at different moments, or her lips moving when she wasn't supposed to be speaking at all. A Reddit user known for digital forensics analyzed the metadata and noticed something terrifying. Each new re-upload was timestamped exactly 24 hours after the last, to the second, as if someone or something was ensuring her presence stayed alive online. And then, one night, a new Instagram account appeared. No profile picture, no bio, just one follower. It followed several of Renee's old fans, people who had commented "come back" under her posts. The account began posting blurred photos of beaches, rooms, and mirrors, each one captioned with the date of one of Renee's missing days. The final photo was posted exactly 1 year after her disappearance. It showed a familiar face reflected in a window, half hidden in the light of a monitor. Renee's eyes stared blankly into the lens, her skin pale and almost translucent. The caption was only one word: connected. The internet lost its mind. News outlets covered it. Experts claimed the image was a digital manipulation, a viral hoax designed for clout. But no one could explain the GPS tag embedded in the post's data. It led back to the same resort where she vanished. Some of her oldest fans still swear that if you scroll long enough through her old fan pages, her stories sometimes reappear briefly, only for a second, showing her smiling at the camera like she used to. Others claim they've received DMs from her old account. Just one message: "Don't forget to like and share." The narrator's voice softens, carrying a sorrowful edge now. The internet remembers everything, even the people who want to disappear. Sometimes, the only way to truly unplug is to lose more than your connection. And somewhere out there, a screen lights up in the dark, a notification pings, and a familiar face smiles once more, whispering from a place between signal and silence. "I'm still here." It was close to midnight when Ella sat down in front of her microphone, the familiar comfort of her small studio wrapping around her like a blanket. The room was simple. Dim string lights hung lazily along the walls. Her keyboard sat beside a steaming cup of chamomile tea, and outside, rain tapped rhythmically against the window. She had done this hundreds of times before. Her followers loved her soothing voice and soft acoustic covers. She wasn't famous, but she didn't need to be. For her, the live sessions were more than content, they were therapy. That night, she wore her favorite oversized sweater, her hair tucked behind one ear. The chat was small, maybe 200 people watching live. She smiled at the camera and said softly, "Hey, everyone, thanks for staying up with me again. Let's keep it cozy tonight." Her voice had that warmth, the kind that made strangers feel safe. She began strumming her guitar, humming a slow, gentle tune that filled the quiet space. Halfway through her first song, the comments started rolling in. At first, they were harmless. "You sound amazing. Your voice is magic." Then, one message stood out. "Who's singing with you?" Ella paused mid-note, confused. "Singing with me? It's just me tonight, guys." She laughed, brushing it off, assuming someone was teasing. But then, another comment appeared. "No, seriously, someone's harmonizing. It's in the background." Her fingers froze over the strings. She tilted her head, listening. The rain outside filled the silence. Then, faintly, almost buried beneath the hum of her equipment, she heard it. A soft whisper, like someone humming along. It wasn't echo. It wasn't feedback. It sounded human. She quickly muted her mic, heart pounding. The sound didn't stop. It was still there, faintly, like a voice behind her. She turned around, scanning the room. The only movement came from the curtains swaying slightly near the window. She unmuted, forcing a nervous laugh. Okay, that was creepy. Probably my mic picking up some interference. The chat began flooding with messages. We can still hear it. It said your name. Ella. Please stop. Her smile faltered. What are you talking about? She whispered. She leaned toward the mic. What did you hear? Before the chat could answer, the whisper returned, clearer this time. It was low, melodic, and unmistakably feminine. It said her name again. Ella? Drawn out softly, like someone singing it from right beside her ear. Her hands shook as she reached to lower the mix gain. Okay. This is seriously weird. Her camera flickered for a moment, the image warping before returning to normal. Her viewers were in full panic now. Some begged her to end the stream. Others typed frantically that they saw something moving behind her in the reflection of the window. Ella turned her head slowly. The glass behind her showed her faint reflection, and for a split second, there was another shape there too. A blur. A figure. But when she spun around, the space was empty. She forced a shaky laugh, though her voice cracked slightly. I'm fine, guys. Promise. It's just my brain playing tricks. She tried to play again, her fingers trembling on the strings. The melody returned, fragile and haunting. Then, a second voice joined in, perfectly harmonized, but lower, more mournful. Her audience exploded. Who is that? Ella, it's right behind you. Please turn off the stream. Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, Stop it. Please stop. She covered her mouth, the guitar sliding from her lap. The whispering turned into humming, louder, closer. And then her mic cut out completely. The video continued for several seconds. Just silent footage of Ella staring into the camera, her face pale, lips trembling. Then, without warning, the lights behind her went out, plunging the room into darkness. The faint glow of her monitor cast long shadows across her face. A single breath was heard through the mic. Not hers. Deeper. Slower. And then, in the dim light, her expression changed. She tilted her head slightly, smiled faintly, but it wasn't her usual warm smile. It was cold, distant, almost reverent. Her lips moved, though no sound came out. The stream ended abruptly. When viewers tried to replay it, the video was corrupted. The audio was distorted by static, and beneath the noise, a strange melody played, reversed, low-pitched, and filled with whispers. When played backward, the words became clear, "Sing with me." A week later, someone posted a clip from an archived version of her stream. In it, for less than half a second, a pale face could be seen behind her shoulder, its mouth moving in sync with hers. The account that uploaded it disappeared within an hour. No one heard from Ella again. Her channel was deleted, her other social media wiped. The last comment ever posted under her final stream read, "She's still singing. Sometimes, late at night, random live feeds are interrupted by faint humming, soft, distant, almost human. Listeners swear it sounds exactly like her voice. The same melody, the same tone. And if you listen long enough, the harmony starts to follow your rhythm, your breathing, your heartbeat." The narrator's voice fades to a whisper, tinged with sadness and unease. Some voices never leave the airwaves. They linger, waiting for someone new to join in. So if you ever hear another voice singing with you while you're alone, don't sing back. Derek had always preferred the night shift. The stillness of the store after hours, the hum of the refrigerators, the faint scent of cleaning chemicals. It all gave him a strange sense of calm. He'd been working at the Megamart for 3 years now, stocking shelves from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills and kept him away from people. He didn't mind the silence. In fact, he liked it. The store was massive, a maze of long aisles and flickering fluorescent lights. After closing, it always felt different. Emptier than it should be, as if the walls were listening. Derek clocked in, grabbed his cart of boxes, and started down aisle 7, the home goods section. The intercom crackled faintly as the closing announcement played in the distance, though it had ended nearly 20 minutes ago. He ignored it, probably a glitch. By 1 a.m., the hum of the store had settled into its usual rhythm. The cameras buzzed faintly overhead, and the flicker of the security screens near the employee break room painted ghostly reflections on the wall. Derek's coworker, Shane, had called out sick, leaving him alone to stock the entire back half of the store. He didn't mind. It meant he could listen to his music without being bothered. He popped in his earbuds and started stacking boxes of detergent. The rhythm was soothing. Cut the box open, shelve the product, toss the cardboard. But halfway through the third row, he heard it. A faint, dragging sound from the next aisle over, like something being pulled slowly across the linoleum floor. He froze, pulling out one earbud. The sound stopped. The store was silent again except for the faint hum of the lights. Probably a rat, he muttered, forcing a laugh. He went back to stacking, but a few seconds later the dragging sound returned, longer this time and closer. Derek stepped around the corner into aisle 8, flashlight in hand. The aisle was empty. The only thing out of place was a single roll of paper towels lying in the middle of the floor. He frowned, picked it up, and placed it back on the shelf. As he turned to leave, he noticed something strange. One of the ceiling cameras was pointed straight down at the floor, instead of angled across the aisle like the others. He stared at it for a moment, uneasy. Then the intercom crackled again. Clean up in aisle 8. Derek froze. His breath caught in his throat. The intercom wasn't supposed to be active at night. Only the day manager had access. He swallowed hard and spoke softly. "Who's in the office?" No answer. Just static. He went to check anyway, pushing his cart toward the back of the store. The office light was on, which was unusual. The door was slightly open, the security monitors flickering inside. Derek hesitated before stepping in. The chair was empty, spinning slowly. On the desk sat a steaming cup of coffee, too fresh to have been left by the day crew. He looked at the screens, his stomach tightening. Each camera showed its usual empty aisles, except one, aisle 8. There, standing at the end of the row, was a figure. It was tall, motionless, and blurry, like the camera couldn't focus on it. The figure was facing away from the lens, head tilted down. Derek blinked, leaning closer to the monitor. His pulse quickened. He had just come from that aisle. It had been empty. Then the figure moved, slowly, turning its head toward the camera. Derek stumbled back, nearly tripping over the chair. He ran to the office doorway and looked down toward aisle 8. Empty. Completely empty. But as he stared, he realized something chilling. The fluorescent light above the aisle was flickering, in perfect rhythm with the heartbeat pounding in his ears. He walked forward cautiously, whispering to himself, "There's no one here. It's just the camera glitching." But when he turned into the aisle, the temperature dropped. His breath came out in faint clouds. The shelves on either side looked normal, except the paper towel roll was on the floor again. He took a step closer, and then the dragging sound returned, but now it was behind him. He spun around, flashlight shaking in his hand. The light caught something, a reflection on the linoleum floor, like a wet footprint. Then another, leading away from him toward the stockroom door. He followed them slowly, each print clearer than the last, bare feet, large and human. They stopped just before the back door. The lock on it clicked open, though he hadn't touched it. He hesitated. His instincts screamed at him to leave, but curiosity tugged harder. He pushed the door open and stepped into the stockroom. The smell hit him immediately, damp cardboard and something metallic, like rust. The emergency light flickered, casting long shadows across the pallets. There was a shape in the corner, hunched, facing away. Its shoulders rose and fell in slow, uneven breaths. Derek whispered, "Shane? Is that you?" The shape twitched. Then it stood up, too fast, too stiff. The air grew heavier, pressing on Derek's chest. The thing turned. Its face was wrong, stretched, its mouth fixed in a permanent grin, eyes wide and empty. Derek screamed, stumbling backward, dropping his flashlight. The light rolled, cutting across the walls, catching glimpses of the figure's jerky movements as it lurched toward him. He bolted through the stockroom door, running down the aisle as the intercom screeched to life again. "Clean up in aisle 7. The lights above him began shutting off, one by one, following him down the row. He sprinted, crashing through the break room door and out the emergency exit into the cold night air. He didn't stop running until he reached his car. When the morning crew arrived, they found his cart still in aisle 7, half-stocked. The monitors showed static for nearly an hour between 2 and 3 a.m. When the feed returned, the only thing visible was the paper towel roll, back in the middle of the aisle. Derek never returned for his final paycheck. His apartment was found empty, the door unlocked. The only clue left behind was his work ID, lying on his kitchen counter. Security guards sometimes say that when they walk through aisle 8 during night rounds, they hear the faint sound of boxes being stacked and dragged across the floor, even though that aisle hasn't been restocked since Derek vanished. And on quiet nights, the intercom still crackles to life, the same voice repeating, "Clean up in aisle 8. Samantha had always wanted to be noticed. Like many others her age, she lived for the flicker of validation that came from social media. The likes, the hearts, the brief flood of attention that made her feel seen. She wasn't famous, but she was close. Her TikTok page had grown fast, mostly from aesthetic videos and paranormal challenges she loved doing late at night. Her audience adored her fearless energy. "You're so brave," they'd write. "You should try the mirror game next." It started as a trend, one of those eerie viral challenges that float through the internet like digital ghosts. The rules were simple. Go into a dark room, stand before a mirror with only your phone light on, and say your full name 3 times followed by, "Show me who I am." Most people just recorded themselves laughing nervously, waiting for something to happen before ending the video. But some clips showed flickers of movement in the reflection. Shadows, faces, things that weren't supposed to be there. Samantha's followers begged her to do it. First, she brushed it off, calling it fake. But the pressure built until she finally announced it. "Tomorrow night, 3 a.m. Live mirror challenge." The comments exploded. Thousands of people tuned in when she went live the next night. Her bedroom lights were off except for the soft white glow of her phone. The mirror behind her was tall, old, and rimmed with antique gold she'd found at a thrift store. The atmosphere was perfect, eerie, cinematic, intimate. She smiled at the camera, her nerves hidden behind practiced confidence. "All right, guys, let's see if this thing's real." The chat scrolled non-stop as she stood before the mirror, the faint hum of her phone light casting a glow on her face. Her reflection looked sharper than usual. The shadows behind her stretched longer than they should have. She took a breath. "Samantha Cole, Samantha Cole, Samantha Cole. Show me who I am." Silence. The comments went wild. "Did you see that? Behind you. Look closer." Samantha laughed. "You guys are too much." She leaned closer to the mirror, squinting. Her reflection leaned too, but half a second slower. She froze. The delay was subtle, but it was there. Her smile faltered. "Okay. That's weird." Her chat erupted again, filled with exclamation marks. Someone typed, "It's smiling." Samantha blinked. Her reflection was still smiling, even though she wasn't. The corners of its mouth twitched higher, unnatural, too wide. The air in her room thickened, her breath shaky. "All right, that's enough," she said, reaching for her phone. But her reflection didn't move. It just stared, its eyes slightly darker, almost hollow. Samantha felt her chest tighten as static flickered across her phone screen. The stream glitched. Viewers complained in chat that her face was melting or distorting. Her reflection tilted its head slowly, but she didn't. Then it raised one hand, palm open. She wasn't moving. The light flickered. The screen froze. When the image cleared, there were two reflections, both smiling. One directly behind her, its hands resting on her shoulders. The viewers started screaming in the chat. "Turn around. Get out. It's right there." Samantha turned. The mirror was empty. Just her reflection again, trembling slightly. She laughed shakily. Okay, you guys got me. That was creepy." She ended the live abruptly, tossing her phone onto the bed. Her pulse wouldn't slow down. The air felt wrong, heavier, colder. She unplugged the mirror light and went to bed, convincing herself it was just her mind playing tricks. But that night, she dreamed of her reflection. It stood beside her bed, smiling in the dark, whispering her name again and again. When she woke, her phone camera was on, recording her as she slept. She deleted the footage, trying to forget. But her followers wouldn't let it go. Comments flooded in with screenshots from the live. Distorted faces in the mirror, eyes staring from behind her reflection, a hand pressed against the glass. She stopped posting for a few days, then a week, then a month. Her friends tried calling, but she didn't answer. Her apartment stayed locked, her car untouched. The police eventually checked inside. Everything was neat except for one thing. Her phone sat on the vanity table, camera open, facing the mirror. The app was still recording. On the video, Samantha appeared for a few seconds, staring into the mirror with blank eyes. Then she turned and walked out of frame. But her reflection stayed. It tilted its head, smiling faintly, and stepped forward, pressing both hands flat against the inside of the glass. The recording cut off there. Weeks later, the Mirror Challenge hashtag vanished from TikTok, quietly deleted. But users say if you scroll long enough through the dark corners of the app, you might still find it. A low-resolution clip of Samantha's final livestream. The video always ends the same way, with her reflection whispering through the static, "Show me who you are." And sometimes, if you look closely, your own reflection smiles back before the screen fades to black. When Mia Torres vanished, her followers thought it was a marketing stunt. She had built her fame on suspense, mystery vlogs, unsolved cases, conspiracy deep dives. Every upload felt like a game, and her fans adored how far she'd go to chase the truth. But no one knew that this time, the story she'd uncovered wasn't meant to be told. Started with an email, short, cryptic, and unsigned. "You want something real? Search the archive for account Ever Mirror. Don't stop watching, no matter what." She laughed when she first read it. Another fan trying to scare her, probably. Still, curiosity got the better of her. That night, she opened her laptop, dimmed the lights, and started streaming to her private Patreon group, her most loyal followers. "We're going hunting tonight," she whispered into the mic. Her room was softly lit by the bluish glow of her monitor, fairy lights twinkling behind her. The chat scrolled fast with excitement as she navigated through the dark web browser, the cursor trembling slightly from her own adrenaline. After a few clicks, she found it. An ancient-looking forum buried beneath layers of code, filled with usernames that hadn't been active in years. And there it was, buried in a thread labeled Digital Echoes. The account name, Ever Mirror. It had one post, a video link. No title, no description. She clicked it. The screen went black for several seconds, then flickered to life. The footage looked like it had been filmed on an old camcorder. Grainy, color-drained, and eerily quiet. The room on screen was empty except for a single mirror leaning against the wall. The camera was positioned so the reflection showed most of the space, including a faint figure standing in the corner, barely visible, motionless. Mia frowned, leaning closer to the screen. "That's weirdly familiar," she murmured. The chat filled with laughing emojis and comments like, "It's a prank," and "That's probably edited." But then the figure in the reflection moved. Not in a glitchy way, smoothly, deliberately, took a step forward. The sound of her computer fan grew louder, almost whining. The chat went silent. "Okay, what the hell?" she said, half laughing. But then something even stranger happened. The video camera in the footage began to turn, slowly panning toward the screen, as though aware it was being watched. Mia felt her pulse quicken. Guys, that's not possible. This is pre-recorded. But the camera in the video turned until it was facing directly toward her, and in the reflection behind it there was another mirror. Inside that mirror was a faint image of her own room. She froze. It was unmistakable. The same string lights, the same posters, even the faint glow of her keyboard. The stream lagged. Then the image in the video zoomed closer, distorting into static, until the mirror filled the entire screen. For a split second it showed her, not the footage, not an old clip, her sitting in real time at her desk. "Okay, that's not funny," she whispered, voice trembling. She tried to close the browser, but the mouse wouldn't move. The cursor froze mid-screen. The chat filled with panicked messages. Her reflection on the live camera feed started lagging too, freezing for a fraction of a second, except her reflection blinked and she didn't. Her voice shook now. "I'm shutting this off." The stream cut abruptly. For 2 hours, nothing was posted. Her Discord blew up with worried messages. Then, a single post appeared on her main channel, a 30-second clip. It showed her sitting silently in front of her computer. The timestamp matched the time of the live stream. She wasn't speaking, just staring into the screen. Slowly, her expression twisted into a smile that didn't look like her own. Then, she turned off the light. The video ended. The next day, Mia didn't respond to texts or calls. Her apartment door was locked from the inside. When police broke in, everything looked undisturbed. The fairy lights were still glowing, her laptop still open. But the webcam light was on. Recording. On the screen was a paused video from an unknown source. It showed a dimly lit room, nearly identical to hers, but reversed like a mirrored version. In that room sat another girl, looking directly at the camera. Her face was pale, her eyes lifeless, her lips forming the words, "Keep watching." Detectives later confirmed that the video was hosted on no known server. It disappeared shortly after they copied it. Mia's social media accounts all deactivated within the same minute. Her videos wiped, her images replaced with blank gray icons. But her fans still whisper about it. Sometimes people claim that at 3:33 a.m. her old YouTube channel briefly reappears for a few minutes before vanishing again. Those who have seen it say her last upload plays automatically, the same 30-second clip, looping endlessly. And if you watch closely enough, her reflection changes each time. Her smile growing wider, her eyes darker, as if she's still watching you, waiting for you to click play again. No one's ever been able to record it. Every screen goes black at the exact same frame. The one where she whispers, barely audible beneath the static. "Now it's your turn." Eli was the kind of person who lived online more than in the real world. A gamer, coder, and insomniac by nature, his nights were filled with glowing screens, chat pings, and the endless scroll of Discord servers filled with memes, music bots, and friends scattered across time zones. It was his sanctuary, a digital escape from a quiet, lonely apartment that smelled faintly of instant noodles and stale coffee. One night, around 2:47 a.m., while browsing obscure subreddits about haunted servers and ARGs, he stumbled on a strange post. It was simple. No title, no flair, just a single sentence. "Join the call. They're waiting." Underneath was an invite link. Normally, Eli would have ignored it. These links often led to joke servers or jump scares. But something about this one felt different. The link format itself was odd. Longer than normal, with characters that seemed to pulse faintly, almost like it was alive. Curiosity got the better of him. He clicked. The Discord window blinked and loaded into a server named The Waiting Room. There were no channels, no roles, no icons, just one active voice channel with 3 people already inside. Their usernames were Echo, Null, and Host. Eli hovered over the join button. No mutual servers, no mutual friends. The server was otherwise empty. A chill crept up his spine, but he clicked anyway. The voice channel connected with a faint pop. Static filled his ears at first, followed by silence. A deep, unnatural silence, like the air itself was being held still. Then, a voice spoke. "Welcome, Eli." His heart skipped. The voice was calm, distorted, layered, as if several people were speaking at once. "Who are you?" he asked nervously. "We are the ones who listen," it replied. "You came looking for us." He laughed awkwardly, thinking it was a prank. "Yeah, okay, funny. You got me. Who set this up?" The voice didn't respond. Instead, another user joined the channel. The name Eli number 0001. His exact username. His exact avatar. He froze. "What the hell?" The clone spoke. His own voice, but slightly off, like a recording played backward. "You shouldn't have clicked." Eli's hands trembled as he tried to leave the call, but Discord froze. His mouse stopped responding. The static returned, louder this time, layered with faint whispers. He could hear breathing that wasn't his. Then his monitor flickered, showing a brief glimpse of something impossible. His webcam had turned on. The tiny green light blinked to life, and his reflection stared back at him in the dark. Only his reflection wasn't moving. Host finally spoke again. "Do you want to hear the truth, Eli?" He swallowed hard. "What truth?" "That you're not the first." The channel list suddenly filled with hundreds of new users, all with variations of his name, all joining at once. Eli 1, Eli 2, Eli 3, Eli 4. The count climbed past 1,000 in seconds. His screen lagged as messages flooded the chat window. The same message repeated endlessly. "We're still here." He yanked the power cord from his PC. Darkness. Silence. His own heavy breathing. After a few minutes, he plugged it back in. The computer booted normally. Discord wasn't running. He sighed in relief, convinced it had been some weird malware. He deleted the app, cleared his cache, reformatted his drive. Then, finally, he went to bed. But sleep didn't come easy. He kept hearing faint notifications, Discord pings, even though the app was gone. 3 tones repeating every few minutes. He turned his phone off completely, but the sound kept coming, faint and distant, like it was echoing from the walls. At 3:33 a.m., his computer powered on by itself. The Discord window opened automatically. The waiting room was back. Only this time, there were no voice channels, no user list. Just one message in chat, from host. "We're not in your computer anymore." Eli's heart slammed in his chest. The cursor started moving on its own, typing back in the chat box. "Where are you?" The reply came instantly. "Look behind you." He didn't. He couldn't. Every muscle in his body locked. The faint reflection on his black monitor showed a shape behind him. Tall, gray, featureless. It leaned closer, its head almost touching his. The Discord window blinked once, and all traces of the server vanished. The app crashed, the screen went dark, and when he turned the lights on, the reflection was gone. The next morning, his apartment door was still locked from the inside, but his chair was empty. The computer was running again, Discord open. The only server visible was the waiting room, with one online member, Eli number 0001. Friends who later tried to message him on Discord found something unsettling. His profile would appear online every few nights for about 3 minutes, always between 3:30 and 3:35 a.m. If you send him a message during that time, you'll get an instant reply. "We're still waiting. Join the call." No one who's ever joined has come back online. Riley was a digital marketing intern, overworked, underpaid, and practically glued to her phone. Her job was to monitor trends, jump on hashtags before they went viral, and keep her company's social media presence buzzing. It was monotonous, but she was good at it. She had an eye for what caught people's attention: strange trends, mysterious challenges, cryptic threads. Anything with a sense of danger always performed best. One night, while scrolling through X, Twitter, she noticed a hashtag she didn't recognize. Hashtag sleep with meat night. It wasn't trending globally, but it was climbing fast in small, private circles, mostly accounts with locked profiles or cryptic bios. She clicked out of curiosity, expecting to find edgy jokes or viral marketing. Instead, what she saw was deeply unsettling. Every post under the hashtag featured the same kind of photo: a dimly lit bedroom, a mirror or window visible in the frame, and a figure just barely noticeable in the background. Some users caption their photos with things like, "He's closer tonight," or "It smiled back this time." Others just tagged their location and the phrase #sleepwithme tonight. At first, Riley assumed it was an ARG or creepy art trend. But what really caught her attention was that the timestamps were all identical, 3:07 a.m. No matter who posted it, no matter the time zone. Curiosity turning to obsession, she decided to dig deeper. She searched the hashtag again the next night. This time, it had doubled in activity. Dozens of new photos appeared, different bedrooms, same eerie setup. But one stood out. The image was taken from a high angle, showing a girl asleep in bed. The caption simply read, "Your turn, Riley." Her breath caught. She stared at it, heart pounding. How did they know her name? She checked the account. Blank profile, no followers, no following. Created that same night. The next morning, she told herself it was a coincidence. Some random troll who guessed her name from her profile picture. Still, she couldn't shake the unease. She set her phone face down while working, but it buzzed constantly with notifications from anonymous accounts, all following her, all with blank usernames ending in numbers. That night, she decided to test it. At 3 a.m., she posted her own photo under the hashtag, her bedroom dark except for the faint blue glow from her laptop screen. She added a joking caption, "Guess I'll play along. #sleepwithme tonight." Within minutes, her post began to blow up. Hundreds of likes, comments pouring in. "He's there. Don't turn around. You're next." Her chest tightened. She glanced at her screen. The number of comments was climbing too fast to be real. She reached for her phone, but the camera light flicked on by itself. Her screen froze, then turned black. A new photo appeared on her feed. It was her, sitting on her bed, staring blankly into the camera. She hadn't taken it. Panicked, she tried deleting the post, but her account wouldn't respond. A cold draft brushed across her neck. She turned, but no one was there. Still, she could feel it, the presence of something behind her. Watching, breathing. Her laptop chimed. A message appeared from an unknown sender. "Now he's with you." She slammed it shut, heart hammering. The silence in her apartment was deafening. She turned on all the lights, checked the doors, everything locked. But when she looked back at her phone, another image had uploaded. It was her again, but this time she was lying down, asleep. The timestamp read 3:07 a.m. The next morning, her coworkers noticed she hadn't clocked in. Calls went unanswered. When HR sent someone to check her apartment, they found her phone still recording on the nightstand, the camera aimed toward her bed. The footage showed her tossing and turning, whispering something over and over in her sleep. When they enhanced the audio, it was clear she was repeating a phrase, "Don't look at him." At the exact moment the clock hit 3:07 a.m., the video glitched. The screen filled with static for 3 seconds, then cleared, showing her empty bed. The blankets were still warm, her phone untouched. But in the corner of the room, barely visible in the reflection of the mirror, was a tall, shadowed figure, leaning forward as if whispering to the camera. The #sleepwithme tonight disappeared from the platform the next day. All posts associated with it were wiped within an hour. Even cached archives showed nothing. Still, people claim it occasionally reappears, usually between 3 o'clock and 3:10 a.m. Only 1 or 2 posts at a time. They're always grainy photos of bedrooms, always tagged with the same phrase. And if you scroll long enough, you might find one showing your room, your bed, your reflection, your name hidden in the caption. If that ever happens, don't check your phone at 3:07 a.m. Whatever you see staring back from the darkness isn't waiting for a like. It's waiting for you to fall asleep. It was nearly midnight when Marcus began his shift at the 24-hour retail superstore. The place always had a strange stillness after dark, aisles stretching endlessly under fluorescent lights, security cameras humming faintly above, and the faint smell of detergent clinging to the air. Most employees hated the night shift, but Marcus didn't mind. It was quiet, predictable, until that one night. He was restocking shelves near the back when he noticed something odd on the store's CCTV monitor. Camera 14, the one facing the children's clothing section, showed movement. A tall figure stood completely still between the racks. Marcus frowned. No one should have been there. The section had closed hours ago. He radioed the security guard, Trevor. "Got someone in the kids' section?" Marcus asked. Trevor's voice crackled back. "No, man. Just did a sweep 10 minutes ago. Empty." Marcus switched his gaze back to the monitor. The figure hadn't moved. It stood in the same spot. Tall, motionless, its head slightly tilted as if watching something. He adjusted the camera's zoom, but the picture glitched. Horizontal lines flickered across the screen. When the image cleared, the aisle was empty. He sighed and assumed it was a glitch. That was, until he heard the faintest sound over the hum of the store. A child's giggle. Marcus froze. The sound came from aisle 14. Slowly, he walked toward it, his sneakers squeaking softly on the polished floor. As he turned the corner, he felt a chill that didn't belong in a heated building. The air was heavy, colder than before. "Hello?" he called out. His voice echoed. No response. He crouched down, scanning beneath the racks. Nothing but tiny shirts and jeans swaying gently. Then, a small pink shoe rolled out from beneath a shelf and stopped at his foot. He picked it up. It was old, dusty, the rubber sole cracked. Definitely not from their stock. Marcus straightened and placed the shoe on a nearby rack. Uneasy. He turned to leave but stopped dead in his tracks. A mannequin stood at the end of the aisle. They didn't keep mannequins in this section. And this one wasn't like the others. It was taller, its face unusually detailed. Eyes carved too deeply, lips curled into a faint smile. For a moment, Marcus swore he saw its chest rise and fall as if it were breathing. He blinked, and the lights above him flickered. When they steadied, the mannequin was gone. He stumbled backward, heart racing. He ran to the monitor room where Trevor sat scrolling his phone. "Man, you didn't see that?" Marcus gasped. "See what?" Trevor replied lazily. "The mannequin. It was in aisle 14. Trevor frowned. "We don't have mannequins in aisle 14. Marcus spun the monitor feedback to camera 14. What he saw made his blood run cold. The mannequin, or whatever it was, now stood behind the register counter, facing the camera. Its head tilted, that same unsettling smile etched across its face. Trevor laughed nervously. "You messing with me?" Marcus shook his head. That thing wasn't there before. Trevor decided to check it out himself. He grabbed his flashlight and headed out toward the front registers. Marcus watched from the monitor as Trevor's flashlight beam appeared on screen. The light cut across the figure's blank face, and then the feed glitched again. The screen went black for 3 seconds. When it came back, Trevor was gone. The flashlight lay on the floor, flickering. Marcus grabbed his radio, panic rising. "Trevor, come in. Where are you?" Only static. He sprinted toward the front, calling his coworker's name. The store was silent, aisles empty. The faint buzzing of the overhead lights the only sound. Trevor's flashlight lay where the monitor showed it. Still on, still flickering. Marcus picked it up, and then he heard it again. That giggle. He turned sharply toward the sound. Down the toy aisle, small footprints appeared in the dust, leading toward the storage room door. They stopped right in front of it. Marcus approached, gripping the flashlight tightly. The door creaked open on its own. Inside, it was pitch black. He hesitated. Then, a whisper, soft, like a child right behind him, said, "He doesn't like the lights." Marcus spun around, flashlight trembling in his hand. Nothing. Suddenly, every light in the store went out. The hum of electricity vanished, replaced by a deep, pulsing silence. In the dark, he heard slow, heavy footsteps, deliberate, echoing. He aimed his flashlight toward the sound. The beam flickered, struggling. And there it was, the mannequin, or the thing pretending to be one. Its body twisted unnaturally, head cocked far too far to one side. The smile was wider now, impossibly wide. Marcus dropped the flashlight and ran. The lights flickered back on just as he reached the manager's office. He slammed the door shut, locked it, and called 911. The operator picked up, But before he could speak, the store's intercom crackled to life. A child's voice whispered through the speakers, "Clean up in aisle 14. When police arrived 15 minutes later, the building was empty. No Marcus, no Trevor. Only the faint sound of static from the intercom and one lone mannequin standing perfectly still behind the front register, smiling. Its name tag read, Marcus, Night Manager. Jade had been streaming for years, building a small but loyal following on her late-night ASMR channel. She loved the quiet intimacy of it, the gentle whispers, the brushing sounds, and the way her viewers seemed to drift off to sleep as she spoke. Most of her subscribers were harmless, appreciative, and respectful. But there was one account that made her uneasy at eyes always watching. At first, it seemed innocent. The account liked every video she uploaded, leaving encouraging comments like, "Your voice is magic," or "I feel safe listening to you." But soon, the comments became unsettlingly specific. "You moved your left hand too fast at 3:02 a.m. The blanket on your bed is crooked again." Jade brushed it off, thinking it was a coincidence. Maybe someone just had a keen eye, or maybe it was automated spam. She blocked the account multiple times, only for it to reappear under a slightly different username at Eyes Still Watching, then at Eyes Never Sleep. One night, she decided to do a live stream. The room was dim, lit only by a soft lamp in the corner, casting long shadows across the walls. She whispered greetings to her viewers, brushing the microphone softly. Everything seemed normal. Then the chat started scrolling rapidly. Comments she hadn't seen before popped up. "Stop whispering. He's closer. Don't turn your head. 3:33 a.m. is almost here." Jade's pulse quickened. She looked around the room, nothing unusual. She laughed nervously, trying to maintain calm. "Guys, this is just part of the story tonight," she said softly. "Don't worry." The clock on her desk ticked toward 3:33 a.m. Suddenly, the faint sound of footsteps echoed from her apartment hallway. Slow, deliberate. She froze, holding her breath. The chat exploded. "He's there. Behind you. Turn around." Jade's eyes darted toward the doorway. It was empty. She told herself it was her imagination, maybe the building settling. But then her microphone picked up a soft whisper, almost beneath her hearing. "You can't hide." Her hands shook as she scanned the room. Everything was as it should be, the lamp, her bed, the microphone, except the laptop screen. A video call notification had appeared. It wasn't from anyone she knew. The caller ID read at Eyes Never Sleep. Her curiosity, mixed with fear, forced her to accept. The screen flickered, and a grainy black and white image appeared. It was her room exactly as it looked right now. She could see herself sitting there, whispering into her microphone. Her hair, her desk, the tiny lamp in the corner. Everything. Jade leaned back, horrified. "This isn't possible," she whispered. The figure in the video call slowly lifted a hand, and she realized it wasn't her. Not exactly. The reflection moved independently, tilting its head, leaning forward. Its eyes were hollow, dark, and unblinking. The chat went silent. No one typed anything for what felt like hours, even though only a few minutes had passed. The figure's lips moved. Jade couldn't hear the words, only the vibration on her screen. Then her own microphone picked up the whisper again. "Join me." Panicking, she tried to disconnect the call. The screen froze. Her cursor wouldn't move. Her phone vibrated with dozens of notifications from unknown numbers, all repeating, "He's waiting for you." Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. Total darkness. The soft lamp was dead. Jade could hear breathing, deep, slow, deliberate, came from behind her. She couldn't move, couldn't scream. When the lights returned, her camera caught it. A shadow standing behind her, tall and distorted, its face indistinct but eerily familiar. The figure's mouth opened, forming a smile that mirrored her own. The stream ended abruptly. The last few viewers reported their screens freezing with Jade's wide-eyed reflection staring back at them, whispering silently. The account at Eyes Never Sleep disappeared from every platform. Jade's apartment was later found empty. Her bed was made, her desk neat, but the camera was still recording. The footage showed her motionless, staring into the screen as if transfixed. On her desk, the lamp flickered faintly, and a single post-it note appeared, though she hadn't left it. "He knows your name." Some viewers claim that when they revisit old streams of hers late at night, her reflection moves slightly differently than her recorded motions. Blinking when she didn't, smiling when she didn't, as if she's still live, still whispering, waiting for someone new to watch. Liam had always been cautious about social media. Unlike his friends, who shared every detail of their lives online, he kept his accounts private and limited his circle to close friends. But even the careful ones can be targeted, and Liam was about to discover just how fragile that sense of security could be. It began with a friend request. Not unusual at first, social media algorithms often suggested new connections. But this one was strange. The account had no profile picture, no mutual friends, and the name was simply a single letter, K. Liam ignored it, thinking it was spam. The next day, he noticed something unsettling. His private posts, images, and statuses meant for friends only had been viewed, not by anyone on his friends list, but by this mysterious K. There was no trace of hacking, no security breach, yet somehow the stranger had access. Liam tried to block the account. It vanished, only to reappear hours later, more invasive than before. Messages began arriving. Short, cryptic phrases. "I see you. You shouldn't hide. Behind you." The first night, Liam stayed up late, scrolling through his feed. Every time he refreshed, he noticed subtle changes. Pictures he'd taken himself showed slight distortions. Shadows where none should be, reflections that didn't match reality. One image of his living room showed the back of a figure standing near the window, head tilted as if observing. Panic set in. He confronted his friends online, asking if they had posted anything unusual from his account. Everyone denied it. His digital footprint seemed untouched, except for K. Every move he made online was being mirrored. By the third day, the messages escalated. They weren't just on the platform anymore. Texts arrived to his phone, emails popped up, even notifications on apps he didn't have installed. Each message carried a timestamp precisely matching his local time, even those he hadn't been awake to see. One night, around 3:15 a.m., Liam heard a soft tap on his window. He lived on the 4th floor, the city quiet, the streets below nearly empty. His heart hammered as he peeked through the blinds. Nothing. But when he turned back, his laptop was on. The screen displayed a live feed from his bedroom webcam, him sitting on the edge of his bed. He hadn't activated it. A chat window popped up instantly. "Why didn't you say hi, Liam?" Fear gripped him. He tried to shut the computer down, but the screen froze. Then the feed switched. His room appeared from multiple angles, showing every corner. The shadows cast by his furniture seemed to move independently, elongating and bending unnaturally. He grabbed his phone and called the authorities. But every call went straight to voicemail. Panic rising, he tore through his apartment, unplugging devices. The strange thing was, each device he disconnected seemed to flicker and react one last time before going dark, as if acknowledging his presence. Hours passed. Exhausted, he fell asleep on the couch. When he awoke, the apartment was silent. No messages, no notifications. Relief washed over him, brief, fleeting. Then he checked his computer. The screen was on. One new friend request, K. The profile picture displayed a grainy photo of his own room, taken moments ago. He hadn't moved, hadn't set up anything. Yet there it was. A single message accompanied the request. "Now I'm inside." Liam never logged in again. Friends who tried to contact him reported his social media accounts were active but strange. His profile posted random images of empty rooms, doors slightly ajar, shadows in corners. Comments appeared under his posts, always the same. "I'm still here, Liam." Some say that if you scroll long enough through abandoned or private accounts late at night, you might still see Liam's profile. The images are familiar. A room that looks almost like yours, faint movements in the shadows, and the feeling, unmistakable, that someone is watching, waiting. And for those who dare to send him a friend request, the reply is always immediate. "I see you too."